What was something you did as a kid that you thought was badass but as an adult you find cringy? Sunglasses all the time. Day, night, doesn't matter. I used to wear padlocks on my belt loops. For extra stupid, they were padlocks I'd busted off the lockers in P class with a shoe, so there I was walking around with 4 or so padlocks dangling from the belt loops of my JNCOs. Ugh. I thought raising my eyebrow at every little thing made me look cool. Looking back, it looked like I had problems. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Brow, do you even lift? Grade 1 I took one of those chocolate coins in gold foil, put a hole in it and ran a string through, and tied her around my neck. Went to school bragging I won a medal in a hockey tournament, SMH. I remember signing up for a martial arts class and wearing a black and red gi and a red belt on my first day thinking I would look totally badass. My instructor made me take off the belt and gi top and told me to never do that again. I would break dance in front of my large family at every event I could. Unfortunately my father likes to film things for memory, so every so often I am reminded of my god-awful dance moves as a 10-year-old when we watch old home videos. I would also do finger guns at the camera afterwards like I was the best dancer ever filmed. I thought I'd look so cool and badass drinking orange juice while eating mints at the same time without flinching or gagging. I did this at school and at various events. Thanks to that, I can now handle doing that no problem, but it's bad knowing why it doesn't bother me. Apparently bandanas looked cool, was into Guns N' Roses as young teen, but it wasn't a proper one, it was my granny's neck scarf lol. Picking up the landline phone, dialing a random number and attempting to prank the caller on the other side. When I was a bored kid, I used to look up psychics in the telephone book and call them up. I'd ask if they were a real psychic and could actually predict the future, and when they would say, yes, I'd say, well then why didn't you know this was a prank call? I learned some cool swear words this way. I growled at my neighbor when I was 5. I used to bark at people I was chasing while playing soccer, thinking it'll scare them that a dog is coming. It distracted them alright, but I think a barking kid coming at you is more unnerving than an actual dog. Eating ants. When my brother was 3, I found him eating ants. I asked why he was doing it, and he said I'm being Baloo the bear. This was such a reasonable explanation that 7-year-old me just shrugged and walked away. While mom was busy at the bank teller's window, I spotted a long row of light switches in a remote area of the lobby. As a badass kid, I reached up and turned off the entire row, plunging the bank in darkness. That, in turn, called the cops because bank staff thought the place was being robbed. I'd walk around the neighborhood with a toy lightsaber and challenge any kid I saw to a duel. Same thing when I got a dual disc. Edit. I'm glad nearly 500 of you kind people agree that this is badass. I would love to demolish any of you fine fools in battle if we cross paths. Back in kindergarten I used to run with my hands behind my back like Naruto. I would Naruto run. This was way before it was a meme and I only did it because my uncle, who lived with us at the time, showed me all his anime from when he was a kid. Edit. I now remember thinking it made me faster. At around 8 to 9 years/0, I decided I wanted vampire fangs. Best way to accomplish this? Grind my canine teeth with rocks. Literally cringe as an adult, because they still occasionally sear with pain from a mistake made in a single afternoon. I tried to give my mom one of those all my life kind of speeches. It didn't go like the movies. Edit. Thanks for the award. And for the record, I got as far as all my life you always try to tell me what to do and where to go. Before my mom A, literally laughed out loud and B, reminded me that this was not a movie and I still had to clean my room. When I was in secondary school I was showing off in front of my classmates when my teacher asked us how much she, as a human life, was worth. I shouted back about 10 pounds an hour. Let me tell you, I did not have to wait until I was an adult to find that cringy. The second the words left my lips I was instantly disgusted in myself. She was one of the only teachers that truly wanted me to succeed and believed that I could. She absolutely did not deserve it and no amount of laughter from my classmates could have made me think it was worth it. I would call it badass, but hey, so when I was like 8 we went with my friend's family to public saunas. Some people were naked there. I got hard, but instead of taking a towel to hide it I was walking around naked flexing my dick with every step. It must have been so cringy seeing 8-year-old floping his dick around thinking it's okay. When I was a kid and chat rooms were all the rage, I used to say I was covered in tattoos. Like head to toe, covered and not in meaningful things. It was more like scrolling through Facebook and seeing meaningless burns and shit like yeah, I got a big tattoo on my back that says if you don't like me, fuck you. And dumb shit like that. I was 13, the only PPL who believed me were other 13-year-olds and obviously the adults were like what the actual fuck. Fishnet stockings. Not just black. I also had a few neon colors that I'd mix and match. And not just with skirts. I also wore them with jean shorts. But not just for legs. When they'd rip too badly to use as stockings, I'd cut them into strips and wear them on my arms. I thought I'd be really cool and order myself a brownie instead of my mom ordering for me, 7 years old. So I very proudly said, "Can I have a nut allergy please?" Having read the wrong card in front of the brownie, lol. The cashier and my mom cracked up at that. Always wore different belt buckles and made sure to show them off like Howard from TBBT. I even made a custom belt buckle in the shape of a penis in metals class and painted the balls blue and walked around school with it. Now I think belt buckles and showing them off is so dumb. I dressed up big time in high school. To the point where I wore heels sometimes. My god, I cringe so much thinking about that. To make things worse, I ended up winning best dressed in my school. Pretty sure it was because people felt bad that I was trying so hard, and pitied me. Oh, and I find heels extremely unnecessary and uncomfortable now. Plaster magazine pictures of emo band dudes all over my wall. Wait outside in line for 9 hours before a concert to guarantee a bar spot, right up front. Then waiting outside after the show for another 4+ hours just to get a picture and autograph on the CD insert. Or on my Vans. I guess it's not cringy, just silly teenage stuff, but boy oh boy did I think I was cool. Edit, thanks for all the love, you all. I have morphed into an entirely different person in my adult life, so looking back often provokes cringe memories, but I'm glad it wasn't so bad. Peace sign. Edit 2, long live Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Motion City soundtrack and all the emo pop punk of my youth. In 5th grade, scented hand sanitizer was crazy popular, and having the little rubbery things that let them hang on your bag made you even cooler. Bonus cool points if you had more than 1 scent. So, I decided that I would become the ultimate sanitizer haver. I got like 25? Different little sanitizers all with different rubbery holdy things and put them all on one lanyard that I wore every day. I was the coolest kid for a week. You want your hands to smell like cookies? I got you. Cotton candy? I'm your man. But I looked like, to quote teachers and parents, a sanitizer junkie and disturbing. Pictures have now shown me that my hoard was not anywhere near cool. It was like a giant rubber and plastic tangled mess hanging from my neck, and it was not a good look. While standing in front of the mirror, I pretended to be an actor in a made-up toothpaste commercial. I would put the tube of toothpaste in my right pocket and ask myself in the mirror, "What kind of toothpaste do you use, John? My name is not John." After which I grabbed the toothpaste and screaming out loud the brand name, Blue Gel. That made me feel super cool. A friend and myself, on Halloween, would go down this one street where every house had 4,5,6 potted plants, sitting on their front porches. We'd spend hours running up and down the street, or until someone turned on their porch light to scare us away, switching as many pots as we could from one house to the other. We'd run home laughing, "That's my flower. No, it's mine. No, yours is over there across the street." It was more fun than smashing pumpkins. As a kid I thought it was super badass to be mute for some reason, so I'd go actual weeks, and one time 3 months, without talking. I thought I was able to choose to do that, so I never slipped up and insisted on not talking through head nods and writing, which scared the shit out of my parents and made a lot of my teachers mad. I mean, they knew I could talk, but I just refused to. In my head I wasn't doing anything wrong. I still will occasionally go a day or two without talking, just because I love not talking. But I understand that I'm not actually mute and can talk and should talk, and it's rude not to. Having had seen some action movies, I pretended to be a badass undercover agent or SMT agent, acted as I placed some spy devices all over each facility I came to, talking some shit on the improvised earpiece. I suppose that looked pretty lame. In junior high, my friends and I used to go to the local college campus and smoke my aunt's stolen cigarettes while we sat outside the dorms. We thought we could blend in as freshmen and look like we just stepped outside of our dorm for a smoke, like the badass freshmen we obviously were. But, no, we definitely looked like 12-year-olds, and later learned that the dorm we sat outside was the athlete's dorm, so I don't think we scored many badass points there either.